All right. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, Coach Mike. We are recording. We are live and hot here. You go ahead and kick it off, Coach, and we'll go from here.
All right, there we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2022-23 season for the Metro Atlanta Aquatic Club. We're going into our 10th year as a club, and that is a huge accomplishment for us and for everyone involved in the program. So it's really exciting, and it's a huge milestone as we move into this 10th year. So it's a pretty big deal because I think we've had a lot of family and friends that have supported the program to grow it to where it is today. And we want to thank everyone for helping us get this far, and we still have a good long ways to go. I wanted to first introduce myself. I'm Coach Mike, founder of the club. My name is Mike Norman, and I'm originally from New York and then Philadelphia. Moved to Georgia to go to University of Georgia, and actually I'm a swim coach now at Georgia Tech, an assistant coach here at Tech, and started the club in 2013, and we've had a lot of successes from there. And I have a beautiful wife, Taneza Norman, and two beautiful children, Asada Rose Norman, who's a senior at SCAD, and a beautiful son, Mosiah Norman, who is a senior at Midtown High School here in Atlanta. With that, I'm going to pass it on to Chris Thane.
So I'm Coach Chris. I'm from here in Georgia, born, raised. Then I went to UNC to swim. And actually, I was one of those original 8 kids that started under Mike 10 years ago to help start this team when he decided to leave the team he was with before to create his own program.
And then we'll go to Coach Iago.
Hello, everyone. I'm Coach Iago. I'm from Brazil. I started coaching MAAC this summer. I've been training with Mike since January as a pro. I went to school in Miami, Ohio for 2.5 years, and then I transferred to Indiana University, swam there and graduate there. And as I said, since January, I'm training with Mike, so I'm part of the MAAC as an athlete and as a coach. Excited to help you guys, excited to see everybody swimming fast.
We'll go to Coach Grace.
Hi, you guys. I'm Grace, as many of you guys know. I am originally from Athens, but I came here to go to school at Tech, and I swam for Mike and then Georgia Tech.
You're muted.
Did it work?
There you go. Now you're unmuted, Grace.
Yeah, but okay, that's fine. Anyway, I'll start over. I'm from Athens, but came to Georgia Tech to go to school, and I swam for Mike. And if we're still doing fun facts, a fun fact is I went to Paris and saw all the new renovations for the Olympics. So that was kind of cool.
Cool. All right. And Coach Justin is actually in Singapore right now, enjoying a great vacation. And so he'll be back with us next week. And then Coach Carmen is actually working right now. So she couldn't make it on this call, but you'll get a chance to meet her. And most of you probably already know her. And then I'll pass it on to Catherine Gross, who is our team manager, and let her say a few awesome things about herself.
Oh, a few awesome things. There we go. No pressure. My name's Catherine. I used to be a coach with MAAC. I coached our pre-comp 74 billion lifetimes ago when we were over at the Lake Claire pool. It feels years and years and years back, but it was not. But I've been involved in various and sundry ways with MAAC for the better part of 5 years. I now hold the role as team manager. So you'll see emails, remind, I do website, I do T-shirts, we do all of the billing. If you have questions about scheduling, all of that, that's my role. Communications, if you need to get in touch with Coach Mike, you get in touch with me, and then I'll get you in touch with Coach Mike. That's the best way that works. A couple of caveats, just so you guys, thanks for your patience. I know we've had a lot of emails and questions. I do not live in Georgia anymore. I actually moved to Colorado about 3 weeks ago with my husband and my 3-year-old daughter, and I'm also almost 7 months pregnant. So thanks for all of your patience. If you need to get in touch with me, don't feel bad about like, hey, I'm following up on this thing. Please just go ahead and do that. But we're kicking it back into gear here. We're excited and ready to go for this 22-23 season. So yeah, took a couple weeks off to get settled and all the way out here. But yeah, we're pumped. So anything that you guys need, feel free to reach out. Just a couple of housekeeping for this specific meeting. Again, this meeting is being recorded. We will be sending out an email at the end of the meeting with a link to the YouTube channel. So that way you guys can see this meeting. There's my 3-year-old right here who just woke up from her nap. And then any kind of questions that you guys have, go ahead and put them in the chat box at any point in the meeting, and we'll make sure that we either address those in person today during this meeting or via email afterwards if you've got some more specific nuances that aren't answered. So, all right, go for it, Coach.
All right, so first things first, I just want to kind of highlight, Metro Atlanta Aquatic Club. I have 22 minutes, and I'm going to try to pound through this and make sure we don't keep you guys on the phone. I know I've been known for talking a lot, so I have a script. So I'm going to read off of that. All right. MAAC was established in 2013. We're a small club, so a lot of people don't know about our accomplishments, but I did want to sort of read some of the accomplishments we've had as a club. We have 2 American record holders that have been produced at the Metro Atlanta Aquatic Club. We have 5 top 10 NCSA Junior National top team finishes on the men's side. We actually have our first world champion this year in short course and long course. We also have 4 Georgia State individual champions that we have. And then in terms of Georgia High School State champions, in terms of Georgia State individual event champions, we have 15. And that number is growing. This year alone, the Metro Atlanta Aquatic Club has 3 American records under our belt. We have 2 national titles under our belt, individual titles, and 3 world championship gold medals from a swimmer that trained with us this year for our program. And we also have our first summer junior national qualifier on the women's side, which is a huge accomplishment because we've had a lot of success with guys, and a lot of times the team was the senior group was mostly dominated by male swimmers, but that has split, and now we're starting to see some accomplishments on that side. We've also attended both 2016 and 2021 Olympic trials. So I wanted to say all that about our club because, like I said, we don't have a lot of marketing that goes out, but we are an awesome club that has produced awesome athletes with awesome coaches, and most of all, the greatest parents and the greatest group of swimmers that we have. We love doing this, and so just kind of start that off. So I'm going to move through this, folks. I think my wife would be proud of me. Yeah,
you forgot one accomplishment that I saw on the Instagram here recently. You gotta say it, man.
I know.
Even though it's for you.
I'm working on it. All right. Well, we also have another huge accomplishment where I was for a huge thing for MAAC. I was named as one of the finalists for the American Swim Coaches Association Coach of the Year. And that was because one of our swimmers, Nick Fink, one of our pros, won 2 golds at World Championship, and a silver and a bronze. And it was our first male American to win a gold medal in the 50 breaststroke. So it's a huge accomplishment for us in the club, and we'll find out, I think, in September when we go to the National Coaches Convention. So it's a huge piece for us, and I wasn't going to say anything, but thanks, Steve, because I usually don't do well with those things, so I appreciate it. So I did want to go into the philosophy of MAAC, and there are a few big points. One is we're going to build your swimmer's confidence. That's one of the biggest pieces to our program. Is you know, we don't have a massive team. We have a good sized team. We sort of have a number limit of where we want to be in terms of how many people we want on the team. Just because we want to make sure that all the coaches know our swimmers' names, and you know, building confidence. Part of that is just building the relationship. So when your swimmer walks in the door, we're going to speak to them. We're going to say hi, give them a high five, greet them with a smile, because we don't know what type of day they've had, and that's important to us. The second thing is we want them to be excellent, right? We want, you know, excellence is sort of defined as, you know, doing the right thing when no one is looking. And the more that we can help your child develop that skill, it passes over and crosses over into their everyday lives. So that's an important part of the program. The third thing is character. You know, we want to help you as parents support your role as support your goal of creating great individuals that can go out into the world and become leaders and do awesome things. And so we use swimming as a character to build, as a vehicle to build great character. You know, the fast times, the success, the accomplishments, all those things come if you're doing all the right things, you know, when you get to the pool. And so we always say that the fast times and accomplishments are the positive side effects of great character building. And that's really what we're trying to do. You know, we are going to challenge your swimmers. We're going to talk to them about doing things the right way. We're going to encourage them. But that's a big part. That's why I'm sitting in front of you coaching and doing a crazy thing like starting a swim club and deciding to spend a lot of time walking up and down pool deck coaching our swimmers. And then the last thing is hard work. There's no substitute, especially in this day and age, for hard, intelligent work. You've got to put the work in. And you know, this is the way, I think, the one way that I think athletics helps, especially if you're involved in swimming, because there's not a lot of fanfare. You know, you hear about swimming once every 4 years mostly, and that's during the Olympics. So it's not a huge sport in the country in terms of when you compare it to football or baseball or basketball, but it is a sport that if you're involved in it, you're going to work really hard, and not a lot of people know about it unless you're inside the swimming world. And so I think that aspect of it, the hard work, the delayed gratification that is very rare in our society today, is a big part of our program. You know, and for us, I think as coaches, I can speak for everyone. We get excited for, you know, Nick Fink, one of our guys, you know, winning a world championship. The same way that we get excited for, you know, one of our swimmers, you know, Aaron for dropping a ton of time in 100 freestyle this summer and going 104. So it's for us, it's, you know, to see our swimmers excited and happy at the end of the season or in a swim meet, or see them overcome a challenging situation. That's really why we're doing this. That's why we're coaching. That's why we have such awesome coaches, because they could do many other things and make way more money, but they choose to be on the pool deck with us, working with our swimmers and our family. So I'm going to kind of dig into, with that being said, I'm going to dig into a couple pieces. And again, folks, we have the questions you can ask. You can reach out to Catherine. Again, you want to talk to me or you want to talk to me or sit down with me, talk to the coaches and talk to Catherine. And it's just because running a college program, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of travel, there's a lot of recruiting. But when I'm in town, I'll be on that pool deck as much as I can. Okay. But technique for our training, you know, we have a couple pieces. One, technique is key. We don't know where our swimmers are going to be in, you know, 10 years, but we know that if we give you the basic, great foundations and technique, if you decide to keep swimming and your child decides to swim until they graduate high school and they have dreams of swimming in college, you'll have a good foundation for technique. And I can tell you at the college level, we that's one of the biggest challenges is swimmers that come in that don't have the technical skills. It takes 1 or 2 years, sometimes longer to correct so they can actually be competitive. But either way, it's just, you know, regardless of where they end up, technique is important to do it right, you know. I think the other thing is in terms of training with respect to the effort level, it's hard work. And it's, you know, we try to help our swimmers as they get older and as they, you know, climb the ladder of our training program, that they get better at getting comfortable with being physically uncomfortable. That's important. They get better at doing hard things. That's so the program is set up to be challenging, and we want our swimmers to be challenged. But we also understand that the challenge for a 7-year-old is totally different from the challenge, physically speaking, than someone that's 15, right? Because the better you get, the stronger you get, the harder this gets. And so we have to prepare them for that work as they move up through the system. Okay. For in terms of schedule and how many days you train, for our swimmers that are 12 and under, we actually encourage you to play multiple sports. It's good. You know, you don't have to train 6 days a week. I think it's good to have some variance in there. Now, there's some swimmers who, you know, love coming to practice every day. And if that's you and that's your child, awesome. Come on. We love to have you. But we're okay with swimmers playing different sports because it helps. And it helps them develop, you know, different things that they may not have in swimming. So I think that's something to keep in mind. Like if it's in them, it's in them. If they want to train and swim at another level and swim in college or what have you, that's something that comes in mind, and that's a goal for them as they progress. That's fine. We can do that. But it's okay if they play other sports. I think it's a good thing. If you're 13 and over and you have goals of becoming, you know, making junior nationals or going to sectionals or swimming in college, then you will you're going to have to come to practice. There's no substitute for the work. The work is the work. And the way swimming is, you can run and be in great shape. And there's some swimmers that can get away with like running and then coming in a day or two. But you have to put the work in. You got to train if you want to swim at the highest level. But if you are over 13, and we have swimmers that ran cross country and swam, that's okay too. Just let us know. Just understand what your expectations are, so that we can make sure we meet those needs. Does that make sense? The other piece is in terms of, we have some swimmers that are breakout swimmers at 10 years old and 11 years old, for a number of different reasons. We keep those swimmers in the training group that they are assigned to, because it's okay if the kid is fast to be the fastest one in the group, because everything is so age appropriate. Because we do not want a 10-year-old who could possibly swim with the senior group getting the same training for 8 years. You need to see different coaches, and there's so many skills, and there's so much that changes in terms of conversation when you have a bunch of 15 and 16-year-old, you know, girls or boys together versus a bunch of 10-year-olds together. And we want to make sure we're doing the right thing for our swimmers' future development. Let's see. And the next piece, we're going to go on to, we're going to move on and jump into meets. So the schedule is up for the most part. We're actually going to have a separate meeting about swim meets next Wednesday, the 24th, and that'll be at 6:30. So we'll get an email out to you about that, because we did want to go through in detail some of the meets and the way we do the meets. But I will say this about meets. You know, in terms of arrival for meets, you want to be there 15 minutes beforehand, and you want to, now it's getting to the point where they are marking up our, you know, they'll send out the heat sheet the night before or the week before, so that you can mark up your children. We'll talk about that during the meeting about how to put your swimmers events and heats and lanes on their arms, so it's easy for them to remember. And that helps us a lot in just running the meet, so that you can come in and be able to just, you know, swimmers can come in, they can warm up. They know what heat lane they're in. We can just look at their arm or look at their back, and they're set to go. The coaches choose the events for our swimmers, and this is why we do that. We choose the events because there are things that we're doing in training that we need to see in the meet, and sometimes swimmers don't have the full stroke perfectly done, but it gives them context in terms of what to do correctly and what to do incorrectly. We encourage you to attend swim meets because the cool thing about swimming is everyone participates in swimming. It's not like basketball, football, where kids may ride the bench and not get an opportunity to participate. You are in the meet, you are swimming, and so we want to make sure that there's some events that a swimmer may not want to do, but they probably need to do, and I think that's why the coaches choose those events. Parents, again, if you reach out to the coaching staff and you need to talk to us about an event and have clarity, need clarity on something, even though I'm hard to reach, I will sit down with anyone that needs to sit down at a coffee shop and discuss their children's progress, or if I need to sit in the stands, whatever the case may be, we'll talk to you about everything that's going on if you have a question. That's important to us that you know what's going on, because if you have a question, come to us, talk to us. If you have a concern, you have something that you see that you don't like on deck, we want you to be open about it and tell us about it so we can get better. Okay. If you're upset about your child's performance, we really don't have this at all, but if you are upset about a performance, if there's something that you felt like someone should have, a swimmer should have done better, you don't like the way they look in the water, whatever the case may be, we don't do that at the meet, because we have coaches that are coaching swimmers, and a lot of times if you're upset about something, then the swim meet is not the place to do that. So anytime you want to meet and talk, we are open to talk. If it's the coach and myself or whomever, and we'll just ask questions and figure out, what we need to do to help you out and make sure we're doing the right thing. So that's just another little piece. The other thing is, the last two things about meets is we are going to add a $10 charge onto meet fees for the following reasons. We are still committed to giving swim caps out to everyone for free. We don't charge for swim caps. I want to make sure everyone has a MAAC cap. That's important to us. The other thing is that the cost of meets is gone up. The cost of travel for our coaches, everything is more expensive. So that is just something that helps buffer the cost of swim caps and coaches travel and just covering the per diem and all those pieces. So it's a small fee, but I think it helps us out a lot in making sure our coaches are taken care of. And then I'm gonna move on next to team gear. Okay. And when I mean gear, I mean team apparel. So you can order warm-ups, sweats, parkas, t-shirts, and then caps. Again, the caps are free. So we give those to you. All right. If you want to order caps with your name on them, you can order that through the website, and they'll be delivered directly. They deliver them to us and we'll pass them out at practice. But in terms of the team gear, I mean, the gear that we wear at practice, we have warm-ups that we order through Boathouse because they're the same color. And every year it's great. It's great quality. We're going to put that store back up next week. Parents, if your child is 13 years old and over and is attending meets, you should buy, we encourage you to buy a warm-up. And if they're still growing, buy a couple sizes too big. You don't need to buy warm-ups every couple years. The parents that are 12 and under, you can buy a warm-up, but we'll have an option on there for just regular Champion sweats for top and bottom. It's a beautiful looking sweatshirt. It says Metro Atlanta Aquatic Club on it. They're awesome. They're thick. They're warm. And it's a great option as opposed to buying warm-ups, which could be a little bit more expensive. In terms of parkas, we have a team parka. It's a beautiful team parka that says Metro Atlanta Aquatic Club on it. That is the parka that we want you to have when you go to swim meets, because it's just, you want to look like a team. If we're going to age group state or long course state or traveling out of town for a meet, it looks good. We can easily identify you. And in the wintertime, that parka helps a lot. They can just throw that thing on and jump out the pool and make it to the car. It makes it easier on everyone. And then t-shirts. We will offer 3 colors of t-shirt: black, orange, and white. and we'll have a store up for that. We have a good guy in town that works with us. We have awesome t-shirts, great feel. But you'll need those t-shirts for the meets. And again, as we said, caps are free. So just to reiterate, like if you can buy the warm-up through Boathouse, but you really, if your child is 12 and under, I would encourage you not to, and just get a regular, champion sweat top and bottom, and you're good to go. But definitely get the parka. Okay. Moving on to training equipment. Okay. We use a lot of gear. We use a lot of equipment, and it's important that you have that. Everyone on the team, from pre-comp all the way up to our senior group, will need to wear fins, need to purchase fins and a kickboard and a snorkel and a nose clip, especially for the little ones. And the reason for that is it's technique. It cleans everything up. We do have some equipment at the pool. For 2 years, I've been saying I'll bring the equipment over. It's at the pool now. So those are used kickboards and stuff that we can give to you. You can keep it. And you'll need that for your equipment bag, right? And there are equipment bags on the website. That's another piece that you'll need to put your kickboard, pull buoy, paddles, all that stuff that you need to have in that bag. All right. Everyone needs, again, a snorkel, fins, and kickboard. As you get older into the advanced age group competitive, you'll need a pair of pull buoys, and you'll need a pair of old tennis shoes. We use those because we kick with them in the water. So you're gonna need those. It helps makes the kids' legs stronger. And so you're gonna need those pieces, right? We will have a list that we're gonna publish, and we'll have an email that goes out that talks about all the equipment that you need. You have a few weeks before we really get into the thick of the season, so you're good. Don't worry about stressing about, like, I gotta have it tomorrow. We're doing a lot of drill instruction this week, so we'll be able to get through a lot of the first couple weeks without needing every single thing, okay? But having your own fins helps us because you can just put the fins on, get in the water, and get moving, as opposed to digging through a crate of fins and trying to find it. And parents, make sure you put your swimmers' names on the fins, because as much as we don't want to, kids leave them on the pool deck by mistake, and the guards collect it, that goes in the lost and found, and so it's just easier if you put your names on it, okay? And then you'll need a yoga mat, and you'll need just the regular pair of a t-shirt and shorts and a pair of gym shoes. That's it, just some sneakers. And we'll send out the schedule in terms of what you need on each day. But as a general rule, everyone needs to bring a yoga mat. If you don't want to buy a yoga mat for the younger ones, just have them bring an extra towel. That's fine, so they can sit on the deck. It's all good, okay? And then one of the things that will happen, because this is an awesome facility, is we will have, there'll be changes in the schedule. We'll have to adjust the schedule, either early practice or afternoon practice. On rare occasions, we may have to cancel practice if there's a major competition, but we don't have many of those this year, so it'll actually be better than it was last year. We don't have an invite, we don't have NCAA championships, and we don't have ACC championships here, so we'll be pretty good going into the spring. The next piece that I want to move to is code of ethics. Okay, we're going to keep it very simple. We operate on the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We are strong believers in respect and being kind. That's the first thing about our club and our coaches. No fighting, no bullying, no teasing. We don't put up with that. We also don't put up with anyone being disrespectful to our parents or our swimmers or our coaches. We're just not going to have it. All right. The next piece is coaches. We do not talk about politics, and we don't talk about religion. That is your business, and we are not going to cross that line. We are there to coach and to help develop character, but we're not going to use those two pieces on this team to infringe on anybody's way of raising their children or get into the household. We're not going to be discussing at the dinner table. That's how you raise your kids, the way you need to. And the last thing is everyone is accepted. We welcome everyone from all walks of life, from all gender identities, from all cultures and backgrounds. Everyone is welcome here. And we have one of the most diverse teams in the country. And we love it that way. We have an awesome, diverse coaching staff, and we love it that way. We think it makes us stronger, right? I think you kids, when they come on MAAC, they're going to have a different experience than many other clubs that they join. Then I'm going to move to. I'm sorry, I'm rushing, but I'm be mindful of everyone's time. Communication. I think every club, this is a challenge for everyone, especially here sometimes because the schedule can change. And the reason for a lot of schedule change here at MAAC, at Georgia Tech, is that there's just a shortage of work in the world. There's a shortage of restaurant workers. There's a shortage of lifeguards, and so that can impact our schedule. I think they're taking steps now to increase the pay of our guards so that we can hire more. But that is a reality that we deal with. And if we do need to make changes, or if we need to communicate about meets or anything that we do differently, we have the Remind app, we have email, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. And in terms of communication, those are the vehicles that we use. Again, if you want to talk to the coaches, just shoot a text to the coaches or to Catherine. If you want to talk to me, shoot a text to the coaches or Catherine. I'll get to you, I promise. But then the other part of it is communicate to us about your children. Like if there's something that we need to know, we do protect information. So if there's something about that may impact training or how we interact with the swimmer, please let us know. Coaches are trained to deal with to work with all types of swimmers. So we need to know that information because it does have an impact. We've had swimmers before who have had autism and have and had those sorts of challenges. We have had swimmers that have parents that have communicated to us about if a swimmer has body issues. We've had those things. So we want to be mindful and make sure we don't lose anyone because we didn't have information and someone did or said something that they didn't know about. Okay, so that's important to us. We want to make sure your children and you feel safe and comfortable when you become a part of the club. Let's see, I've talked about that. Okay, got it. All right, last two pieces that I have, and then we can move on. Sorry. Fundraising. We want to raise money for the club. We are not going to do a swimathon. What we are going to do is luckily we have several awesome Brazilian swimmers who were Brazilian national team members. And we have, because of the team, three of the swimmers that we've coached are all, two of them are Olympians, and one of them is an NCAA champion, record holder, and American record holder. We're going to hold clinics that we want everyone to attend. And if everyone on the team attends, it helps us with a number of things. One of those things being helping some families travel because the cost of going to junior nationals or going to multiple meets can become prohibitive. So if there's someone that has achieved that level and they can do that, we want to be able to support them. We also want to be able to just support the club in general, and anything we can do to help our awesome coaches that also plays a role in it, right? And so I think those are important pieces where we want to provide fundraising opportunities, but something where actually our swimmers get something out of it. Get to talk to an Olympian. We have a clinic. We'll do one on breaststroke, one on backstroke, and then we'll do one on butterfly. And then we work so much freestyle. I don't know if we need to do a freestyle clinic. So those are the pieces. We'll do 3. We're still working out the dates with our schedule at CRC. But if we can get everyone to attend that and we'll have more information on it, then I think it'll help our club immensely. All right. And we'll have more information about that as well. There's 2 para committees that we'll need. Again, Catherine will send an email out. One is a travel committee, and the other one is an event committee. As we grow and as we all get busy, we want to make sure that when parents have asked for years, how can we help? And so here are the two places we can help. We need the travel committee to help us plan our summer training trip and to help us find good chaperones for our travel trips that we do with our team. And then the event committee is just family gatherings and get-togethers. We are a family here at MAAC. We want everyone to meet everyone, and we want to know each other. And that's just an important part of our program. That, you know, as we get super busy, as I get busy, as the coaches, you know, they're you know, some of them in school. We have 2 coaches that are training for the next Olympic Games. We want to make sure that we handle the things that are important to our families and important to us. So that's it. I went 7 minutes over. Sorry, I thought we handled a bunch in, but I'm getting better. All right. Post your questions. We got a couple questions we can answer. I think most of them are going to Catherine. Awesome job. And then the thing about registration, did we talk about that, Catherine?
No.
Okay.
If you want, I can kind of jump in and talk about USA swimming registration. I can talk about billing. I can talk about website and all of that real quick, and then address several of these other questions, which I'll have to kind of do with that. So are we cool to jump in there?
Go for it.
Awesome.
Yep.
So
Go ahead.
a couple of things, just if you are particularly a returning to MAAC family. So USA Swimming has decided to kind of do their initial registration a little bit differently. So our registration now for the team is in 2 parts. If you're on this meeting, you've already done the first part because you wouldn't have gotten the link if you weren't. But we have the MAAC registration that is for our team. You did that through our Team Unify website. You've paid your annual registration fee that covers insurances and things with Georgia Tech. In addition to that, we now have a USA Swimming registration. In years past, USA Swimming has lumped that and allowed the team to do that on behalf of their swimmers. They're no longer allowing that. So we are going to be getting, we are anxiously awaiting from USA Swimming a MAAC specific link so that our parents and families can log in and register their swimmers through USA Swimming. Who needs to do this? If your child is planning on competing in any swim meet, they are required to be registered for USA Swimming. It does not matter what age your child is. If you have a 6-year-old who's planning on swimming, if you have a 15-year-old who's planning on swimming in a swim meet, they need to be registered for USA Swimming. If you have a swimmer who is not planning on competing in swim meets, they're either part of one of our MAAC Fit programs or they're in pre-competitive, the USA Swimming registration is not required. However, if let's say they decide in February they do want to participate in a meet, you'll have to log in and pay that fee. So there are going to be some nuances. I won't go into every single potential option here in this meeting because we have, I've sent that link out and I'll do it again. I'll post it on the website where USA Swimming has FAQs. We have some recommendations that we'll make again, once we get that link from USA Swimming about registering like annually versus seasonally versus whatever. We'll let you know what is best for your swimmer in that email, but we have not yet gotten that link. So that's kind of where we're at there. A couple of questions about scheduling recommendations for swimmers who swim with their school and for MAAC. We love that. First of all, we love that they do that. And that's going to be up to you, your family, and your coach. So talk to your coach, kind of figure out what it is that your swimmer has goals for. There are going to be some swimmers who, you know, are going to taper off a little bit with MAAC and maybe only come to 2 practices a week with MAAC during the high school season or the middle school season. And there are going to be other swimmers whose high school practice is not going to be robust enough for what they need. So have those conversations one-on-one. We don't have kind of a standard base requirement that covers everybody because each of the swimmers are going to be a little bit different there. Yeah, USA Swimming is requiring a code for the team. Yeah, Kimberly, I just saw your question pop in. We don't have that code yet. So when we do, I'll email everybody that. A couple of notes moving away into different registration and with billing. Our billing goes out monthly. The first billing cycle that you'll hit will be September 1st. And that billing will be billed just continuously on the 1st of the month. A few notes there. Please make sure that your credit card is updated in our system. If you're a returning family and you're like, oh, it's the same card that we used last year, please log in, double check those expiration dates, double check those the mailing addresses and all of that. There is a $25 fee that gets charged, $25 late fee if an account doesn't go through. And that's really challenging for us to kind of adjust. So just know that the billing occurs the first of the month beginning September 1st. Practices start on Monday, the 22nd. So in just a few days, that's when practices will kick off. At the end of this meeting, we will be sending out an email with the updated practice schedules, with posting, updating on the website, and all of that will come out, as well as a link to this video. In addition, you need to make sure, both with the registrations, a couple of things. Think about what works best for your family. All of our swimmers are required to have an access card into the Georgia Tech pool. This is called a buzz card. It's good for, you know, the life of your kid, unless they lose it and then make them pay for it, but that's a parenting decision. But they need a buzz card to access the pool. This is required of every single swimmer on every single team that practices at Georgia Tech. It's to help with the safety of our swimmers as they enter and exit the pool. We don't want people going into the pool who are not allowed into the pool. Parents are welcome to sit and watch practices. You do not need a buzz card as a parent to sit in the upper deck. The buzz card is simply access to get downstairs. In addition, if you are looking at parking at the pool waiting for your swimmer, you would want to purchase a Georgia Tech parking pass. Inevitably, we have heard Coach Hart with Georgia Tech say multiple times, you know, the things in life that you can always count on are death and taxes, and also getting a parking ticket from Georgia Tech. They ticket people, they tow people all the time. So make sure you go ahead and get a parking pass. Those can be purchased through the CRC when you first walk in, that main kind of desk there on the left-hand side, as well as the buzz card. They can go ahead and get those and renew those annually and do all of that right there at the deck. If they tell you like, hey, you know, you need to up it or whatever, just let them know that you're with the MAAC swim team. They send me a list of names every week for people who've looked at purchasing a buzz card, renewed their access to the buzz card, anything like that. I confirm that and we're good to go. If you have specific questions about Georgia Tech access, you can log into our team website, maacswim.com, click in the upper right-hand corner and log in. That will populate a private page exclusively for our swimmers that gives you all of the directions you could possibly need for Georgia Tech access. You cannot see that page unless you are actually personally logged into our site. So I get questions all the time. People say, hey, I didn't see it on the website. Make sure you log in, then you'll be able to see that. That's going to be a great place for you to go with those FAQs. Additionally, Remind, I know Coach has talked about the Remind app. We have a Remind group that's for MAAC general announcements. And then we have a group specifically for each one of our practice groups, pre-competitive, AGC, AAG, and MRC. All of our coaches have administrative access to these. So if there's a sudden change, hey guys, come in the back door for practice now, you know, or whatever, we'll go ahead and, you know, shoot those things out on Remind, not exclusively on email. So make sure that you're logged into that. If you need to know how to access the Remind, again, you can go to our website, go to the team group page, and it'll give you the code to access those. So that's what I've got just from kind of a logistics standpoint. I did type my email address into the chat box here. You can go ahead and reach out to me via email. You can reach out to me via Remind at any point, and I will do my best to get back to you within 24 business hours as we kind of navigate these things. You can always communicate with coaches as long as it's not during the middle of them coaching a practice. We don't have parents on deck during the coaching practice, but feel free to reach out. Let us know if you have questions and you've searched the website and you can't figure out what it is that you need. The last question I think that has kind of popped up here that I haven't yet answered is talking about the Hilton Head travel meet on September 17th. Next Wednesday, we will have a Zoom meeting specifically about swim meets. That way, if your child's not participating in swim meets, you don't have to join in. We'll talk about the details and the specifics of what that looks like at that meeting. Yeah, and I think that answers all of the questions that we have had so far. So I'll shoot it back over to you, Coach.
All right, there we go. The one thing I'll say is I believe, and I'll double check because that was one of the changes. For some reason, USA Swim decided to make this change, registration. But I do believe we actually, Catherine, I think everyone has to be registered on the USA Swimming, but there's different levels of registration. You can do like flex membership, you can do season 1 or season 2 or year round, right? And so it's if you think that your child is only going to swim in the fall, do season 1. If you think your child is going to swim only in the spring, do season 2. There's also a flex membership where you can allow a certain amount of meets to attend. And then there's a year round that covers you for the entire year. So when you do the math, if we do season 1 versus season, if you do season 1 and then add season 2, it's actually more expensive than doing year round, right? But again, if you're on the team, you do not have to compete at meets, but we encourage you to because it just gives context to what your swimmers are doing, right? I think it's a good thing. They get a chance to race and compete, be a part of the team. And there's other benefits, like especially when we have a travel team. We do have one travel team that'll be for everyone for age group and senior. So they get to eat dinner together. A lot of times we'll organize those dinners. It's a fun time, and we want everyone to have that experience. But yeah, that's it so far. Okay. All right. One other thing. Parents, I know we've thrown around MRC, AAG, AGC, and pre-comp. So I just wanted to go through probably the thing that we just sometimes forget about, but pre-comp is pre-competitive. That's a group of swimmers who may not know all 4 strokes, but know how to get up and down the pool with a good enough freestyle or good enough backstroke. But that is the skill that at that level, we're teaching a lot of kicking, a lot of technical work, and a lot of skill development and a lot of fun. But we do work them pretty tough, and we want to make sure that they understand how to do things properly. So I think we've been proud of that group. And then age group competitive, those are swimmers that could be from age 6 all the way to 12 that are swimmers that know all 4 strokes, but now we're working on like conditioning and developing their skills, continuing to get stronger. They start working a little bit more race strategy. And so it's just a good, solid group. A lot of swimmers that come out of summer league will go into age group competitive, depending on the skill level. And then the next group is the advanced age group, which is the next group above, and that could be swimmers anywhere from 10 or 11 all the way up to 13 and even higher, 16, depends on how fast you are and what you can do during a practice. But that's when we start preparing our swimmers for senior level. That's when we start preparing them to, the practice is a little bit more demanding. They know all 4 strokes. They're learning race strategy. They're learning to train a little bit more. The frequency of the workouts increases. The volume of work that they do increases. And the intensity of work increases, right? But even within those groups, there are different levels. Some swimmers can do a little bit more, some swimmers can do a little bit less. And then our top group is our MAAC Racing Club. And those are the swimmers that are a little bit older and can make the intervals and are dedicated to the sport, that are training hard, they're coming to practices, they're doing dry land, and they have goals of swimming on into maybe swimming to college or swimming to junior national. And so that's sort of our program, and it goes, we just develop everyone from the top to the bottom. So I wanted to mention that. I know that was something that we sometimes we think about it because we're inside MAAC and Metro Atlanta Aquatic Club, and we say MRC, AAG, AGC, but you'll get used to the terms, and if you have questions, you can give us a call. All right. Well, that's all I have for all the newcomers, and I did want, if you're an AAG or MRC, wanted you to stay on the call. Everyone else, like I said, we have some more emails flying your way with respect to some different events that we have going on throughout the fall. And again, we'll have another meeting next Wednesday to talk specifically about the swim meets that we have for the schedule for this year. All right. Thank y'all. All right. MRC and AAG, stay on for us. I think we're still going to finish within that the 7 o'clock time frame. I don't have much unless we have some questions that we'll go through.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold you accountable. 7 o'clock, man.
Hey, I got 7 minutes and 9 minutes. Excuse me.
There you go. There you go. You better bring back that inner New York and talk fast there, coach.
We don't talk fast in here. They talk faster in the South. All right.
All right.
So a couple things. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Looking forward to an awesome season again. We had some great things happen, across the board. There are a couple things that I did want to discuss. One is in terms of equipment, the MAAC will cover, we need to order some different type of paddles for our AAG and MRC group. The club will purchase those. But we just felt like they were a better paddle, actually going back to what we used to have, just old school paddles. They have holes in them, so they don't put a lot of stress on your shoulders. So we'll be ordering those. We won't need them probably for another month, so don't worry about it. But when we need to start using them, we'll have them for your swimmers. The next piece is the one thing that you will need to order, though, is something called drag socks. We have drag socks that my beautiful, awesome, lovely wife, Nay, made for us. But that was sort of just a stopgap measure, and it's time for us to get the heavier, thicker ones. And I don't think I can go to my wife and ask her to make any more drag socks. So we need you to order a pair of drag socks. Folks, you do not get the large size drag socks. They have 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. If you're one of the young kids that has a size 12 or 13 shoe and you're growing, probably get a size medium. But if you have a smaller foot, I would say that the small drag sock is the better one to go with. All right. The other thing, socks and shoots. We also have shoots, a different type of a shoot that we're going to be giving to everyone. So you won't have to worry about that. We just, in terms of running the practice properly, we want to make sure that everyone has the right equipment and the safe equipment. All right. The next piece is we are looking at morning workouts differently this year, and I'll tell you why. Part of it is from discussion with the coaches and discussion with our national team strength and conditioning coach, who has to manage all the national team athletes and the amount of rest that they get, and talking to some of the biggest club coaches in the country, nation's capital, different places. They all handle it differently. But I want to get feedback from everyone about morning practices, because my inclination and the way I'm thinking about it is that I don't think we need to do a morning practice. And here's why. The rest that your child needs as they're growing is super important. We only have 1 hour to train in the morning on Tuesday and Thursday, and they have to get up at God knows what time. And then on top of that, our high school students that are studying late at night, that they have to get up for morning practice, they either stress because they miss it or they go and they don't get enough rest. Now, as age groupers, they are resilient. It's awesome. We love that. But the consistency of going to a practice Monday through Saturday is going to be way more beneficial than I think trying to get up on a Tuesday and Thursday in the city of Atlanta, where you're fighting traffic and trying to get back to school on time. And I can tell you that when we first started MAAC, the first 3 years, we did not have morning workouts. I think in our 3rd year, we had morning dry land work that they would do at the YMCA, but we swam hard in the afternoon. And swimming 1 practice a day gives us the ability to hammer our kids for that 2-hour time frame. We can get out, do some dry land, they can go home and they can get some rest, and they get as much of a full night's sleep as they need to. Okay, that's what my feeling is. We have some older swimmers who may want to do a little bit more, and we can have that conversation. But I honestly think that everything that we need to get accomplished, we can get accomplished in an afternoon practice. Especially as good as students and as much as the work that you're carrying. We just need you there being present for 2 hours Monday through Friday and 2 hours on Saturday. That's what will work in terms of in the water. And then dry land piece on top of that, we can do an awesome dry land program, and you guys can just have that one workout to focus on, and we can be super intense when we need to. So those are my thoughts on that. You're more than welcome to send information to me, or not send information, but send questions to me and thoughts. We have some of our older swimmers who actually go to a strength and conditioning coach and lift weights in, either in the morning or afternoon. Not having those morning practices frees you up to actually go lift and get your 3 lifts in that you need to, without having to worry about afternoon practice. All right. So that's where it's not a easy decision. I mean, it wasn't a just off the cuff decision. We've been thinking about it and talking about it as a staff for a long time, and I've been talking to a lot of coaches. The next piece I would say is I'm wearing a Whoop, right? It's an awesome piece because what it does is it figures out, it collects data on the amount of rest and sleep, the type of sleep you're getting, the level of strain, heart rate, and within your workout. I'm not requiring it. I think it's $30 a month for it. It's been hugely beneficial for the swimmers that have used it. And it's just another piece that doesn't require, outside of submitting a $30 payment every week online, I think you can buy it outright. Outside of that, it's just sending us a PDF of the data that the Whoop collects. That helps us understand how tired everyone is, or who needs rest, and who's improving, right? It gathers all the heart rate information within a given set. So if you're in a workout and you're swimming, it can gather all of what you did during a certain time frame of the workout, and we can see which swimmers were, okay, this is too challenging for this person, we need to change the interval. So we're trying to be smart about the work that we do, and that's important to us. So we'll send a link out to you about the Whoop piece. I think it'll be helpful, and I think it'll just help us get a clear picture, with your permission, of you sharing that information with us, with our coach staff. And again, the Whoop, I would say, definitely it's a strong recommendation for the MRC group, but not so much the AAG. I think we're doing some different things there. If you want to do it, go and collect it. And if there's a future time, if there's at a future time, if we think, yeah, I think AAG should have this too, we'll let you know. But definitely for MRC, because we just want to make good decisions about training and intensities, and that's important to us. Okay. The last piece, we're going to send all the events out for, one of the things that parents, and I think a lot of parents here, this group is mainly impacted by the travel meet in the summer. This spring and summer was not like anything I've ever experienced, having to prepare Nick for World Championships and the Brazilian boys for their World Championships, and literally had to meet pretty much every weekend and travel every weekend from January 1 all the way through to middle April. And I was just swamped, and I don't want that to happen again. There were a couple boys and seniors that graduated that I wanted them to be celebrated, and we didn't get a chance to do that, and that falls on me. But I need help, parents, with the event piece, the event planning. I do want to have an event in the fall for a banquet, even for the graduating seniors, and we've committed to paying for those guys to fly back for a day, have the banquet, and fly back and get back to school, because we do want to celebrate them and make sure everyone on the team is celebrated for their accomplishments over the course of the year. It's 7:00. I'm cutting sharp here, and I appreciate y'all's patience. I'm excited about the year. We have a great group of coaches, and I'm excited to be back on deck and seeing y'all again. This has been a great learning experience for me this year and for our coaches, and we appreciate your support and patience through it all. We're just really excited about everything that has happened this year and what's going to happen next year. So with that, I'm signing off. Thank you so much. We'll get more information to you, and can't wait to see you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, thanks everyone. We'll go ahead and get an email out with the videos for this a little bit later on this afternoon. And feel free to shoot us an email or a mind if you've got questions. Have a great rest of your night, guys.
Thank you.